time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for joining us. Our top story today, the final pieces are underway to temporarily phase out West Bloomfield Fire Station number 1 and turn it into a state-of-the-art modern facility to both aid public safety in greater West Bloomfield and surrounding areas. West Bloomfield Fire Department Training Captain Jeff Letkowski gave an update to the Tri-City Fire Board earlier this week on when we can expect the initial phase of the project to begin.
Looks like next Friday or Saturday, Station 1's personnel will be dispersed throughout the township. Okay. So Station 1 tentatively is going to be closed next Friday or Saturday. Okay. From there, there's a number of things that need to be done before we start demolishing parts of the building. But our hope, if everything goes well, and it usually does during construction, is that within about a year, we hopefully can move back in.
In addition to adding new facilities such as a training tower on site and adequate facilities inside the building for both male and female firefighters, the West Bloomfield Fire Department is matching some design elements, both internally and externally, of other nearby fire stations, including those here in greater West Bloomfield, as well as aiming to add amenities for the community to interact with the fire department as well, which was explained by Chief Greg Flynn at the West Bloomfield Planning Commission meeting.
What we think is going to modernize, bring in some matching elements to Fire Station 3 on Green Lake Road. So we're bringing in some of the mixed textures and the mixed materials and those elements in here. You're seeing a better view of the Memorial Plaza, and there's going to be some, which now I'm extremely nervous about because those are more of an interactive, low-tone, toddler musical instrument thing, which I think it's going to be excellent, but all the talk about sound has got me nervous suddenly. But we're a noisy parcel in all 6 locations, so I think these will be a welcomed musical interactive thing for.
For more updates on Fire Station number 1 and that project as it goes on, stay tuned right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And you can also follow the West Bloomfield Fire Department on their Facebook page for more information and updates, as well as public safety information, facebook.com/WB Fire Department. School is already well in session for the 2025-2026 school year, but with big changes underway at Keego Elementary School, the community is already excited and looking forward to next year. Leaders in our local schools and government got an inside look at the brand new facility here at Keego Elementary School as construction continues. Our team's Jake Schaff joined them for a special preview.
The construction progress on the brand new Keego Elementary School has made incredible strides within the last few months. And just recently, the West Bloomfield School District got to take an up-close and personal look inside of the brand new building that will be opening its doors for the fall 2026 school year. With so many innovative opportunities for learning everywhere you go, this school has something for everybody and such a clear and strong vision for the future.
Oh my goodness, I can't even put it into words almost. It's going to be so incredible. The students and staff just continue to be so supportive, the parents, and they are super excited to start in the new school year. The construction workers, Pat, the construction manager, everybody involved, Jamie Stottlemyre, central office. Every time we come, we can see all of the progress. They've been wonderful at giving tours and really bringing the staff along so they see the progress and can envision it and start planning as we speak.
You know, we're really excited about the progress at Keego Elementary. The construction is really going on as planned. We're excited that we're still on track to meet the opening date of June of 2026. And to see the space come to life has really been amazing. To now see it kind of in a 3D atmosphere, whereas before we were seeing it on drawings, is really exciting. Now we can visualize the space with kids in it and staff And being able to come out here today and experience this with staff and for them to be able to see and stand in their classrooms where they're going to be in a year from now was just amazing.
I'm really excited about the learning spaces and the opportunities that students will have. First and foremost, the theme of Michigan, it really is a children's hands-on museum meets school, and it will make learning engaging and just really next level. So the kids will I can't wait to see the looks on their faces because they have never seen school like this.
It's incredible. If anybody looking for a home in West Bloomfield sees this school and are not attracted to coming to our school district, it would be shocking for me to understand. Having started back here in 1985 and watched 3 different additions onto the building as I was at Green Elementary and seeing what we're going to have now, it's just the technology, the infrastructure, the building, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
How great do you think this brand new Keego Elementary School is going to be for the school district and their mission going forward?
I think it's going to show that we're committed to dreaming big for our students and dreaming bigger for our community. And I'm really excited about the learning that's going to take place in this building and how the space is going to actually facilitate deeper level learning within it. Learning spaces matter, and I think this is going to be an unbelievable space where we connect the academics with the learning space, and we're really going to see great results from this.
Construction for the brand new Keego Elementary School is scheduled to be finished by June of 2026, just in time for the fall 2026 school year, where the first batch of students will get to enjoy this incredible school and set an incredible precedent for what's to come. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Been pretty interesting to look out our window each and every day and see this school slowly but surely come together from the early portions during demolition to now with this massive facility. Tough to believe it's going to be an elementary school that will be welcoming students into its doors during the fall of 2026. More info on the Facebook and Instagram pages of the West Bloomfield School District about Keego Elementary School and other exciting things happening in West Bloomfield schools can be found. Follow them Facebook and Instagram. Their handle is the same on both, at West Bloomfield Schools. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and close to home, the Women's Health and Menopause Center is aiming to make screening more accessible and raise awareness for early detection and treatment through events such as mammograms by moonlight. Here to tell us more is Angela Mulvin, the area manager of on-site Women's Health and Menopause Center on the Splash Live. Angela, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on to talk about this. Your event, Mammograms by Moonlight, is coming up, but really the purpose behind it is to encourage women to get that advanced screening that can quite literally be life-saving. So how does offering screenings after typical clinical hours, as you would do with something like Mammograms by Moonlight or through other programs with your organization, how does that help to bridge some of the gaps in healthcare that often can lead women to either not get the detection that they need, the testing that they need to detect breast cancer and or to get them in and treated as early as possible?
Yeah, so absolutely. We love to do these events in the evenings and on Saturdays. It helps increase access and awareness, and it removes kind of some of the daily barriers that women might face during those daily hours with other obligations. So we like to provide several avenues of access to get all women screened yearly for breast cancer.
And that's an important part of this too, because the concept behind Mammograms by Moonlight is to not only raise information in the community about breast cancer awareness, particularly for the women in our lives and for women themselves, but to get them in for this sort of treatment. And also, there's some different kinds of mammograms and different kinds of treatments that can also help to advance some of that early detection as well. One of those that we want to talk about is called ABUS, or Automated Breast Ultrasound. How does that differ from the standard mammogram, and who might that be beneficial for in particular?
Yeah, so whole breast ultrasound is for patients who have high risk and have dense breast. So it's painless, it's easy for patients, it's an additional screening tool opposed to the mammogram. So we like to offer that if they have a negative mammogram as kind of a security blanket, I like to call it. If you have dense breast, it might pick up a breast cancer that mammogram might typically miss. It's an amazing tool in addition to mammogram that we can offer.
So Mammograms by Moonlight offers limited spots, 8 mammogram screenings, 4 automated breast ultrasound screenings. So registering early for the event is definitely encouraged. This one coming up October 29th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And so Angela, the concept behind this, the meaning behind it is to get people in for early screening, but the concept behind Mammograms by Moonlight, what inspired that and ultimately led to events like we're going to see on October 29th?
Yeah, it's just inspired because we want to reach every woman possible. We want to make it accessible. Having evening hours kind of takes away, it's a little more like low key. We like to, have some fun activities. We like to just have it be not so crazy and busy like day hours are. It's more compassionate, it's more relaxed, and for anybody who's anxious, it's just a little bit more of a light atmosphere to come in the evening time. So that's kind of why we say, Mammograms by Moonlight.
This isn't the first of these to happen here in West Bloomfield or in the greater West Bloomfield area. So you've been able to get some of that feedback, too, from women who have gone through these screenings from the Mammograms by Moonlight program and been able to maybe detect some issues or at the very least have that peace of mind. So generally, what's been the feedback from those that have participated, both those who have been able to get those screenings and others that have just been able to learn about how important this is in October, of course, but really any time of the year?
Yeah, it's convenience. People like the convenience. Everybody's busy, and a lot of times we put off our things. If we don't have a problem, we put off those annual things that are so important. And with breast cancer, we know that early detection is key. So if we can provide, the feedback we've got from people is, thank you for providing that later hours. I have kids at home. I have things to do during the day. I'm anxious. I like to come when it's a little bit more laid back. So the feedback has been amazing with our evening and we're increasing our Saturdays as well to provide that as well.
And then for those that may get screening and have some abnormality pop up, how does the follow-up occur from the appointment they schedule for Mammograms by Moonlight to further treatment? Because detection's one thing, but the treatment, especially early intervention, can be the difference between your long-term health or undergoing a long battle in some cases with breast cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we like to close the loop with all of that. We have amazing communication with our patients. We have a whole team that, make sure that when we get those results back, we follow our procedures. We have a lot of downstream facilities. It's extremely important that we do it efficiently and quickly to get from screening to diagnosis.
More information can be found on WHMcenter.com. That is the Women's Health and Menopause Center's website, WHMcenter.com. Mammograms by Moonlight, October 29th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Again, limited slots are open, 8 for mammograms, 4 for the automated breast ultrasound screenings. So you're going to want to register as soon as you possibly can, WHMcenter.com for more information. In your view, Angela, what is the symbolic importance of Mammograms by Moonlight? Not only just getting the message out, but overall what this means for women's health and the awareness behind some of these issues that particularly affect women more so than men.
It's just the inspiration behind the concept. It's practical, it's symbolic. It's just bringing awareness during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the hype around it. We just want to capture all women that possible for early detection. And that's about that. That's it. It's just the inspiration around it, the concept. It's practical.
And that's really the most important part of this, is getting women to understand that they have these opportunities available to them, inspiring them to go out and even if they just go to their primary care provider and inquire about screening for breast cancer. That this time of the year, the awareness is being raised not only about the fact that breast cancer is still a problem in our modern healthcare space and is still just as deadly as it was 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, but that there are advanced screenings that are available, and this provides that ability for people to get screened. Angela, looking ahead, do you hope to expand or replicate Mammograms by Moonlight even further throughout the local area, or at least have any other plans to continue this concept in the coming months outside of October?
Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of things, we're going to do something in November a little bit differently. We have a lot of things where we have up our sleeve that we're working to meet women where they are, make it as convenient as possible. We have a lot of Saturdays coming up. We have an event that we're hoping to do, mimosas and mammograms. So a lot to come with that, a lot to come.
More information can be found again on WHMcenter.com. You'll be able to register for that event. Super easy to find it. It'll be at their location on West Maple Road here in West Bloomfield. Again, that's WHMcenter.com. You can also call them 248-932-9223. Angela, before we let you go, anything else people should know about mammograms by moonlight or other services that are provided for women's health at the Women's Health and Menopause Center?
Yeah, just absolutely. Get in there, get your screening. This event is going to be amazing. We're doing basket raffles. We have snacks, we have drinks, we have cookies, we have dinner. We just want everyone to come in. We want to remove all those barriers. We want everyone to get screened. We want to save lives.
And you'll be able to register right now on their website at WHMcenter.com. There is a sliding image at the top of their page that will include their Mammograms by Moonlight banner. You click on that, it'll take you to registration. Super easy. You want to get in early. 8 screenings for mammograms and 4 for the ABUS screenings as well. Angela, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Once
again, the website is WHMcenter.com. As I look through, they are also on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, they're at WHAM_OBGYN. And then on Facebook, they're at WHM Center. So plenty of places to get more information and to remind yourself of this event coming up October 29th. All begins at 5 p.m. at the Women's Health and Menopause Center located on Maple Road right here in West Bloomfield. The West Bloomfield Lakers football team has a number of stars making big plays and putting up big numbers this season, all while holding on to hopes of playing at the next level. But while many are already D1 bound, others like Tristan Hunter are starting to make quite the name for themselves in the 2025 season. I spoke to Tristan about taking the big leap from role player to impact player as the season has continued.
Well, really just having guys like Jeremiah Benson and Tank Pittman that they focus on, they forget about guys like me. So, just being able to step up in that spot where they need me when they're focusing on Jeremiah and them, it's just been able to, just put in the work, put in the effort, and just being in the weight room and working on my skills all year.
And those are both 3-year varsity players. They've had a lot of experience and played a lot of football here at West Bloomfield High School. How have you been able to learn from them and take that game then to the next level as you've stepped into this role in 2025?
Well, Jeremiah and Tank, those are 2 of my closest friends. They've definitely gave me a lot of tips, helped me figure it out a lot of things. And, other guys like Brandon Davis Swain, even when, he calls me sometimes, tells me hey, work on this, or, you could do this better and stuff like that. So, they did step up a lot and did help me fit in that role coming into this season.
Tristan Hunter with us on This Week in Laker Football. So far, 31 tackles, 12.5 solo through the first 7 weeks of the season. That includes 5 sacks. Got in on a lot of that the last couple of weeks. And these have been tough games. There's 2 really tough offensive lines that you've gone up against on the defensive side, but you've been able to hold your own. How does that help with the younger players on this defense, especially the confidence level going into these final 2 weeks of the regular season, and especially as you're looking toward probably playing one of the top teams in the state in the early rounds of the playoffs?
It definitely is a confident booster, being able to go out there and compete with guys that, some guys may be seniors, some guys may be, older, stronger, bigger. Being able to hold my own, it definitely gives me that boost and energy in myself and tells me, okay, you can hang with these guys. These guys ain't that much better than you. They ain't that much bigger than you. So that has helped to just being able to play big and make big plays when I'm needed.
You're also cooking on the offensive side, 8 pancakes the first 7 weeks of the season. Pretty good numbers for any offensive lineman at this level in Division I. So as you head into these final 2 weeks, especially given the last couple weeks how defenses have started to be able to figure out how to attack the backfield against the Lakers. How are you guys adjusting, keeping that confidence level high on the offensive side of the football in the trenches, where up until these last couple of weeks, and really only that last week against Clarkston, you guys have been protecting the quarterback really well?
Well, we have a tight group on that O-line. We try to, create as much chemistry as we can. So we do, like, as we come in practice, we always try to, say, hey, it's game speed, work like you're working in the game. So, coming to these next 2 weeks, we just working on the fundamental things, just kick stepping, getting the gaps right, getting the right blocks, being able to see the blitzes coming. So we really just going into these next 2 weeks, we just working on, the fundamentals, the basics, and, just getting back to us and who we really are and being able to just, score a lot more points, just protect the QB, make sure he's not running for, out the pocket and stepping up in the pocket, giving him time.
And I'd imagine it's easy to maintain that chemistry, to build those calluses, to work at this stuff when you're winning. 5 straight wins to start the season. That builds a lot of confidence in your team. Now you've had a couple of losses under your belt, too. You can learn a lot from reacting to those 2 losses and rebuilding week in and week out with your team. How have you been able to adjust, your team been able to adjust these first couple of weeks experiencing losses when otherwise this season you had been dominating in all 3 phases against more or less all 5 opponents previously?
Well, I'd rather the losses be now than then. It did hurt, and I would like to go into the playoffs, 9-0, but things happen. OA Red is a really hard league, and, I'd rather get these experiences of these playoff-type teams because we'll end up seeing them again. We could eventually see them again later on, so I definitely feel like we're doing good adjusting, keeping a mellow head. This did bring our hunger up, losing these 2 games. This did just increase the hunger, make us not, look so much to the rankings. We did get ranked higher, and it could have hyped a couple of our heads up. So this did just bring us back down and bring us back to a level plane and just, make us bring that hunger back into us.
The reality is it's not like this has been some massive fall off for the Lakers. It's 2 consecutive losses against 2 really good teams. Oxford, it took a miracle at the end in the final 30 seconds, a score that you maybe get once in your football career, let alone your high school career for most people, for that victory to go their way. And then last week, it was a ball game up until early in the 4th quarter. Clarkston just found that next gear and was able to put up quite a lot of points in the final minutes to make it a 38-10 victory. So as you keep your heads high and you go forward this season, what are those next steps that the leaders on this team and emerging leaders like yourself are looking toward everyone in the locker room to make to finish out this regular season strong this week and next, and then be playing at your highest level when playoff time comes around?
For our captains, Kamari Pittman, Jamal, Will, JB, and them, they definitely keep the team, level. We got, Coach Cam, he always tells us do your 111. So going into this, we really just, everybody got to do their role. Everybody got to play their part. Nobody can, play hero ball. Nobody can step above the team. Nobody's above the team. Nobody's below the team. We all as one. And as leaders, people with voices on the team, we like to use it in a positive way and, just say, like, we all matter. We all got to play our role. If the next one guy goes down, next man up. So, going into these next couple weeks, we want to just say, do your 111. That's what we're preaching. Just do your 111.
And especially for linemen, you're on the offensive line, you're on the defensive line. You're one of a handful of players on this team that plays on both sides of the ball. When things are going really well, when you're making quick offensive drives, when you're making quick work of the defenses, it can be a pretty easy go of it. When you're playing a war of attrition like you were against Clarkston, can be a little tougher. But really, it's in those trenches that you set the tone, both from gameplay but also personality. So how much pride do you take in being a vocal leader on the sidelines, in the locker room, in practice, and then translating that to the way that you play on Friday nights?
I take a lot of pride in it. Freshman year I didn't play much. Sophomore year played a decent amount, and I watched the guys coming up and how they ran things and how they did things. And I try to be like my own person with my voice, try to be different. Sometimes I let my actions do more of my talking. But I definitely believe that, just stepping up and being able to, play both sides of the ball, have a voice on both sides of the ball, it's been a great experience, and it's been, a great feeling to be able to pick other people up, be able to tell other people, like, hey, let's do this, or be able to be on that field with my guys and actually contribute to the wins and also take the blame when I know I messed up, or even when we do lose, I take the blame for them.
One thing about this Lakers team is you can see it each and every week with them on the field, and then as you observe them, if you observe a practice, if you see them before the games, if you see them talking afterwards, it doesn't seem like those wins or those losses affect them too much. They've really been able to focus on the task ahead and keep themselves level-headed. Tristan, before we let you go today, Bloomfield Hill's coming up next week, then you come back for Roseville. You got a long season hopefully ahead with the playoffs also. So as you try to stay focused on football, football. You try to not make your whole life about football and stress over the game. So outside of Friday nights and Monday through Friday when you're practicing, studying film, game planning, getting ready for those games, what keeps you level-headed off the field?
Really just, sometimes getting off social media, because that's all my social media is sports. So really getting off social media sometimes, taking a break, getting off my phone, hanging out with people in person. And when people go around me talking about the game, I try to just, sound it out, when I don't want to hear it. After games, after, wins or losses, I celebrate with my team. And then, after that, Saturday, Sunday, I take them days to just, get myself together before we got to come back as a team Monday and pick it back up. So I try to just separate my life from personal life to football. But, end of the day, football is always around 24/7.
And you can tell by his work on the field how much focus he puts into the game, how much preparation work he puts in to getting ready for those Friday nights. Had some very big plays over the last few weeks, including one of the back-to-back sacks for West Bloomfield last week. While the game was still pretty competitive against the Clarkston Wolves, it was Kyron Merriweather with a sack and then Tristan Hunter with an assisted sack on the very next play. All that action and more on civiccentertv.com/LakersSports. That's also where you'll be able to tune in to the West Bloomfield Lakers' penultimate regular season game, senior night over at Bloomfield Hills High School, as they have their OAA Red, OAA Blue crossover with the Bloomfield Hills Blackhawks on Friday night. civiccentertv.com/LakerSports. Also the place you can see that entire episode of This Week in Laker Football that premiered earlier on this week. Close to home in Keego Harbor, parents concerned about their kids' safety as motorists have had some issues following safety protocols regarding our local school bus stops. Now the Keego Harbor Police Department is stepping in, much to the joy of those same families, making sure motorists follow the rules and that we keep our kids safe at the bus stop and beyond. Joining us for more insight into this is Officer James Dennis from the Keego Harbor Police Department. Officer Dennis, thanks for being on the show today.
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not bad.
Good to have you on to talk about this. This has been a growing concern. It sort of caught a little bit of fire on local social media in Keego Harbor about particularly motorists during the morning and afternoon rush not paying attention or straight up ignoring buses that are stopped on Orchard Lake Road, dropping our kids off from their local school or picking them up for the school day. And so as this became a rising concern, how has the Keego Harbor Police Department stepped in to help mitigate this issue, not only to inform motorists of what they're responsible for when school buses are nearby, but most importantly, to keep those bus stops safe for our local kids and families?
There's a difference between just hiding out and giving people tickets for it and actually being seen. So we try and be as visible as possible as we can with a patrol car on top of the bus. A lot of times we find during rush hour, people are rushing to work. So it's normally not just they're passing the school bus, they're also speeding and there's other infractions on top of it. So we're just out there enforcing it as much as we can.
And the regular enforcement, too, you usually will have officers nearby our local schools. That was definitely the case previously each and every day when Roosevelt Elementary School was active in the city of Keego Harbor. It was not atypical to see even a squad car parked in the middle of the street there in the turn lane with their lights on, just to raise that awareness that maybe it's time to slow down, pay better attention to the rules of the road. So when there are issues like this that arise, and parents do have concerns about the safety of their kids because motorists are blowing by stopped buses with their stop signs on, how does that then change the paradigm for the local police like yours in Keego Harbor for maybe increasing that patrol?
So Keego, we're pretty small. Normally we have one officer on duty. So what we try and do is mitigate and hit the bus stops. We've teamed up with West Bloomfield School District. Sylvan Lake is also assisting us on this. And the main problem areas like on Orchard Lake Road and Maddie Lane, where you have oncoming traffic that doesn't see, we tend to hit that every bus stop. If we can. If there's a call that comes out that's priority, obviously we have to answer that. But I tend to look at this like there is, property crime and things like that, but kids are not replaceable. So if we can be there, we're going to be there always.
And it's kind of an oddity, too, in our local area, not just in Keego, but in the rest of the Tri-Cities and in West Bloomfield, that we have a bus stop right in the heart of a main thoroughfare during those rush hour times in the morning and the evening on Orchard Lake Road, two lanes going in one direction, one in the other, typically at any point of the day. That's got to add some factor into this. Maybe motorists don't understand the rules of the road when it comes to buses fully stopped, even on a main thoroughfare like that, if they're on one of the far lanes on the right side. So even if they are all the way over on the right side, they're parked in front of maybe the Lodge or other places on Orchard Lake Road going through Keego Harbor, and they have their stop lights on. What should motorists be aware of when they see those lights come up, and to understand that A, they need to help make sure these kids are safe, but also that they're not going to put themselves in a position to pick up a pretty significant violation on the road?
Yeah. From what we've seen, there's maybe a lack of communication, but you have to stop even on oncoming. And the normal excuse from what I get is people saying that on a main road like that, they didn't realize they had to stop when they're on oncoming. I've even heard well, it's a divided street southbound on Cass in the neighborhood because it's divided by grass in the middle. People in oncoming think that they don't have to stop, and that's just not the case. A lot of times too, in fact, in the last two that we stopped, the drivers didn't have licenses. So it's kind of hard to know the laws of the road when you don't have a license.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. And there's other factors too that play into even the patrol and the enforcement of these bus stop areas when there's so much traffic on Orchard Lake Road. What are some of the common issues that maybe make it a little bit difficult to enforce, particularly when it comes to ticketing these individuals and tracking them down? If someone does see somebody blowing by, even if it's one of your officers, what sort of challenges arise in identifying and stopping drivers who do illegally pass these buses at any point in our day?
Normally, if we're there, we're going to stop them. We're monitoring it. If we see them, we stop them. If we are on a call or something like that, I know West Bloomfield, I've been told by the bus drivers that West Bloomfield, some of the buses have cameras on them, and a West Bloomfield officer in West Bloomfield will actually write a ticket for the bus stop violation. That's not something we've grouped up with West Bloomfield School District because there's only certain buses that have the cameras, and you have a conflict of the bus driver trying to identify the actual driver of the vehicle and things like that. So the best thing we can do is just continue to be proactive, and there's 6 bus stops total off of Maddie Lane and Orchard Lake Road, which is really the problem spot. And we try and literally be there every single time. I was there this morning. They had late start, 2 hours late. I'm literally missing a stop right now, and my detective is out there.
And so, Officer Dennis, we want to get you back out there as soon as possible, so we'll only take a couple more minutes of your time. But as you have these issues arise, and especially given the place that this is in Keego Harbor, where this bus stop is, has there been any discussion with the West Bloomfield School District or other nearby districts that may have stops in similar situations nearby that affect our local kids of maybe moving those stops to other locations?
My knowledge, at least for the one that's in our city, the Orchard Lake and Maddie Lane, there's not really anywhere you can move it because most of the children come off of southbound Maddie Lane at Orchard. It's a dead-end street. The bus doesn't have the room to turn around down there, which is why it stops on Orchard Lake. The next stop would be way far up the road, or we'd have kids crossing the street on Orchard Lake, which is an even bigger problem. So, I mean, at this point in time, us and Sylvan have been attacking it pretty hard at that spot. And then I actually just met up with a deputy from Oakland County Sheriff's Office today that's part of their traffic unit, and he was even helping us today.
And so drivers need to be aware of these rules. Hopefully this will help to raise some of that awareness, and they just need to ultimately be more careful, especially when they see those school buses around, assume that kids are going to be getting off of those buses, and even, as you just said, crossing that street. But for those that decide not to play along with the rules and make these violations, obviously they're already in process of being caught quite significantly in the city of Keego Harbor in recent weeks. But for those that aren't aware, just how serious of a violation is it if you pass a school bus when it is at a stop?
It is going to be a $500 fine. It's a lot, and 3 points.
Yeah.
And we're strict on this. When it comes to the kids in our city, we're not playing games on tickets. Other things you can write warnings on, speed, stuff like that. But whatever we got to do to protect these kids out here, and if that's writing big tickets, that's writing big tickets. We have no problem doing that if they're going to disobey the stop signs on the bus.
In a small town like Keego, small towns like Keego, Sylvan, even Orchard Lake, those Tri-Cities, really going to have to go out of your way to get yourself a traffic violation. That about the worst way possible you can do so. Officer Dennis, before we let you go, anything else that the community should be aware of on this matter, or lasting messages from the Keego Harbor Police Department to the greater community about this particular area of Orchard Lake Road?
Just be safe, drive safe, be vigilant. I know early in the morning it's easier to see the bus when it's still dark out because of the flashing lights on the bus and everything else. It's the later hours of the day, people rushing in at 8:30, that we have a big problem. Just know we're out there, we're enforcing it, and if we stop you, you're getting a ticket.
And it's good information to keep in mind, too, as we approach daylight saving time, and those days are going to get darker and darker later on when kids are going to be getting to those bus stops. Officer Dennis, thank you for your time and insight today.
Thank you.
More information on their Facebook page. Follow the Keego Harbor Police Department at Keego Police, or visit their website at keegoharbor.org. And as always, be safe out on the roads. If you see those buses stopped and their stop signs are out and lit up, you are required to make a stop. Regardless of where you're at on that road, you must stop to allow kids to get off the bus and to pass safely. It is critical to the safety of our kids. And as Officer Dennis said, they're out there, they're looking, and especially now with the recent issues, they are very vigilant about this happening in Keego Harbor and have support of other local police departments and the Oakland County Sheriff. So hopefully spread the word, and as always, even more hopefully, be safe. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. Plenty more to get to on the other side, including capturing some family memories and how one man turned a bit of his family history into a very successful business right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Live, local, social, the Splash Live will be back after this on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Can't be late to your own party. Hurry up! Hurry up! Ah! Do not cut me off. It's her fault. Her fault. Ah. You kidding me? Honk, honk, honk! Honk, honk, honk! Honk, honk! Late! Out of my way! Honk! I hate construction!
You should have slowed down.
My party.
You wouldn't act this way in a store, so don't act this way on the road. Driving slower saves lives.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, welcome back to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you so much for joining us and for always tuning in across our social media. A lot of people taking in all of our content each and every day. The short form stuff especially popular of late. So if you want to tune in, don't have a whole lot of time, one of those short, quick, important bits from all of our programming, civiccentertv.com. is the place to go. Links to our social media on X, on Instagram, and on YouTube at Civic Center TV, and on Facebook as well at Civic Center TV 15. Also great places to stay tuned if you're looking forward to Laker football each and every Friday night. This weekend, a chance for you to cement some family memories and support our local classrooms in the process, as the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation hosts a mini photo session with Alicia Kowalski to help support the annual grant programs that they present to our teachers and our classrooms all throughout the calendar year. Civic Center TV's Jake Schaff spoke to Alicia about the fundraiser and her work capturing these snapshots in time of our local families.
Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course, this is such a great event, especially in the heart of fall. You've got the beautiful colors around you, a great landscape for great family photos. How did you get involved with the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's family mini photo session?
So I have a family friend who's on the board of directors for the Educational Foundation, and she reached out to me and told me about this new opportunity of fundraising for the community and asked me if I wanted to participate.
Awesome. And why is supporting local education important to you personally and professionally?
So personally, I actually have 3 children, one of which just graduated from West Bloomfield High School, and 2 more coming up through the elementary schools. So very close to my heart in terms of local education and what a strong school system does to support the community. As a photographer, I love that education supports the creativity and storytelling aspect of things, and having creative arts as a part of the educational system, I think, is so important. So I love that I get to participate into with the foundation and express my creative outlet.
That's absolutely right, and it's great that you are giving back to the West Bloomfield community in this way. So once again, this event is taking place on October 18th. What can families expect from their session with you on the day of the event?
So I think families can expect a very well-organized event. It will be fun. It'll be relaxing. As you mentioned, Bloomer Park is just a beautiful setting for fall colors. They'll be greeted when they arrive. They can expect from me personally to try and make them as comfortable as possible. Trying to establish an early connection, especially if there's young children involved. I'll be providing posing guidance and prompts to get true, authentic reactions from the family.
That's great to hear. And yeah, as you said, especially with families with younger children, things can sometimes get a little bit chaotic. It can be a little difficult to rein the children in and to get them to sit still. So I am curious, what's your approach to capturing genuine family moments in such a short time frame? Because you only have a little bit of time with each family.
Yeah, so I try to be, fun and silly, bubbles and music playing, or anything I can do. And I do have a trick up my sleeve if worse comes to worse, and I'm really not getting a good reaction out of the young children. I'll let them push the buttons on my camera to take their own pictures, and then they get to see them. So that usually works pretty well to get there. If you do this, then smile, you can take a picture on my camera, and that usually perks them up pretty quickly.
Hey, sometimes bribery comes in handy, and that's a pretty good incentive for these kids, a pretty good reward. So after the photos are taken, can you describe maybe the kinds of edits or touches that you add to the final photo gallery that the families can see?
Yeah, so editing is part of my favorite part of the process. And I always try to, especially with the fall colors, my fall editing style tends to be very warm, soft, vibrant, trying to pull those colors through. And also I try to remove any distractions or blemishes, scratches, anything that, might make an individual nervous, especially with the little kids. They get bumps and bruises pretty easily. So no need to worry about any of that. These will be completely professionally edited images.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with photographer Alicia Kowalski, who's going to be one of the photographers for the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation's Family Mini Photo Session that's going to be taking place on October 18th. Now, Alicia, you talked about this a little bit a second ago, but how does it feel knowing that your work is helping to fund educational programs here in West Bloomfield?
I absolutely love it. It's near and dear to my heart. I've had the opportunity to meet and establish a lot of relationships with the educators within the community. As I mentioned, my own children are part of the community. And I just think it's a wonderful event, and the organization and foundation in itself does just fantastic things for the community. So I am so happy to be a part of it.
And we love that you're a part of it as well. I am curious, once you're done with the families and once you've taken all the photos, what kind of feedback do you usually get from families after events like this?
So one of my favorite parts is after I send a family a gallery and I patiently wait to see what their response is. And I have been very fortunate to have just wonderful feedback that comes back in. And it's very heartwarming to hear from families and what they think of their photos and their captured moments in time. And I've been very fortunate to have, to spread word of mouth quite a bit for my services, and then also have just a lot of positive feedback. So it's been I've been very blessed in that aspect.
Glad to hear it, and glad to hear that the families are taking such positive memories away from the experience. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Alicia. Is there a message you'd like to share with families who might be considering signing up themselves this year?
Yeah, I think what families tend to do is things like family photos get overshadowed quite a bit with all of the grind that we have in our daily lives. And my message to families will be like, take the opportunity. And not only is it going to be a beautiful setup and very reasonable pricing, but I think we need to prioritize those moments more with our families and ourselves to get that moment captured, and something that will live on well beyond the moment itself. So I highly encourage families to take advantage of the opportunity, and they will also get their edited photos back in time for all their Christmas card planning.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Alicia. Last thing, where can people go to maybe gain a little more information about what you provide and about the event in general?
So they can reach out to me directly on my website, EliciaMariePhotography.com, and ask any additional questions. I am also on social media, Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see what's to come from this event and for all of the work that's going to be done to benefit the Educational Foundation. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you.
More ways to get involved and, of course, to donate to the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation to support those curriculum enhancements in our local classrooms all throughout the year. WBEF.org, as we revealed on The Splash Live earlier on this fall. There's not going to be a casino night fundraiser any further. They're replacing that with several other fundraisers, including this photography event, this mini photo session happening this weekend. So to stay up to date on all the fun from the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, one more time, WBEF.org. Close to home, a local man's family history and big dreams have led to some serious success in just a short amount of time as he's elevated his homegrown tequila company to a global sensation. I spoke to Greg Sobel about how he turned his passion project, Tequila, into an instant success. Greg, thanks for joining us and congratulations on your recent awards.
Hey, Tyler. Thanks for having me on here. This is amazing.
Yeah, so happy to have you on as you were recently recognized winning multiple 2025 Agavos Awards for your specialty tequila. That really has only been a pretty young business for you so far. So take us through this first year or so that you've been running this business and how it feels to get to the award-winning point in just that short period.
Yeah. This whole thing was something that kind of came out of just quick inspiration. When I had this idea, I thought, nobody's ever done this before. I want to make a really amazing OU certified, which is OU certified kosher, another level of purity when it comes to tequila. If you drink tequila, there's a lot of tequilas out there that are made mass production, commercialized ways that include additives, include a process that isn't authentic. And I wanted to do something that would honor my family, my mom being born and raised in Mexico City, making something that was to be proud of and something that I wanted to share with the community. And I'd bring it into our community of Detroit, Metro Detroit. And it was, the idea had hit me in September of 23. I started the journey going to Guadalajara, Jalisco in December of 23, then doing the whole process of putting it together, making this and getting it here to be imported and received by my distributor, Imperial Beverage in Michigan of December 24. So then the fun began and building awareness and letting people know about it. I got it out and it was received very well. And I thought Tequila Matchmaker is a huge official database of tequila. They track everything and they kind of are the tastemakers in a way of tequila. And when you're looking for good tequila, that's your resource. And they decided to make their inaugural Agaves Awards for only agave-based spirits. And that was, for me, I think that was amazing. I thought, nobody really knows about this. I want to introduce it. Let's get it out to them. I submitted it, and it's a blind tasting. And it's you get it in there. Everybody will submit it. Doesn't mean you're going to win. But I thought it would be a great way to have people find out about it within the industry. And when they tried it, I was so shocked that they rated specifically this Reposado. Grover, who's the founder of Tequila Matchmaker, his top 5 Reposados, the double gold winning. It made super well. The family that I work with in tequila, they own their own agave farms in Michoacan. The distillery is over 100 years old. It's made the way it should be made. And I thought it tasted great, but to know that the tequila aficionados, the best tasters in the world, trying it, thought the same. That was amazing. And the Blanco is also unbelievable. It got a silver, which is still huge for me. I couldn't believe that as well. And they taste great. They're being sold all throughout our area. Vintage on Orchard Lake has it. Bensteen and Walled Lake has it. Commerce. Total Wine, Market Square, Plum Market, Nino Salvaggio. Go to Lely's, go to Zerbo's, go to Sylvan Table. And you can have these amazing cocktails with this great spirit. And not only is it additive-free, made with agave, yeast, and water only, it is OU certified kosher, just giving it that extra level of production purity. And it was really important to me. And like I said, I'm doing this to honor my family, honor my community, and give something to this, give back a little bit, do something different. So it's been amazing. So I'm really excited that you're talking about it and we're sharing it.
Let's dive deeper into that family connection. You mentioned that a lot of this is inspired by your mother. She's from Mexico City. You also wanted to bring your Jewish heritage into it, make this a fully kosher spirit as well. And as you mentioned, it's gone through the certification process with Orthodox Union. So how did that family connection inspire you not only to start this business, but the way that you operate it and create this now nationally recognized product?
Yeah, so the unique thing about tequila is it comes from the Jewish New Year, which is about to happen September 23rd this year. Jewish New Year is Rosh Hashanah. So when you call in the new year, the thing you say is tequila, and it is the loudest sound you make with the loudest shofar blast that you make to usher in the new year. And it's a call to action, getting your attention. That's what really sparked it all. I thought, that's great. I wanted to get, as a gift, a tequila for, let's say, a rabbi, and there was not a really good Jewish branded tequila like a Manischewitz of tequila. And, my family being from Mexico, Mexico is the Mexican spirit is tequila. I thought this makes sense on top of the fact that tequila is so much better for you as far as if you're consuming alcohol, tequila has the least amount of effects. It's the least amount of sugar. It's the most... it helps your body. You don't feel as bad when you drink it. It's the least impact on your body from the agave itself. It's just a better source. So I leaned towards it, and then I had this idea that I couldn't find a Jewish branded tequila, and I thought, well, why isn't that? And then my family being from Mexico City, it's a big community, and people don't really understand that there's a large Jewish community there. And I thought, this is a way to honor the memory of my mother, the memory of all of our family and where we come from, the honor, the way that tequila is produced and made, and the people that it's so much work that goes into a bottle, and do it something in a way that's different. The first Jewish branded tequila, and make sure that it is an OU certified kosher tequila, because the Orthodox Union is the most globally recognized texture, kosher certification that you'll find out there. And that when you see that, it's undeniable. It went through the process I had to go through, make sure the entire manufacturing process of the distillery was compliant, and everything that we were using and how we were barreling and everything met the criteria. So it was a process, and a lot of people don't think that there's value in doing that, but I thought there was a big value of taking that extra step. So got it here, and I honestly had the idea in a split second. So everything in my mind was already developed. I just had to go figure out how to make it, where to make it, and then get it here. So in that time, it was about a year process of doing it all. and going through the legalities and logistics and, trademarking everything, the name, the trademarks of the logo and the Hamsa. It tells a story within that logo. Sorry, I get it back. You can see the agave, the tree of life, the shofar, the temples of Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, the most sacred place on earth, basically, for most people. And it's like, it means a lot. So that's where my motivation came from. And I figure I can start small, slow and steady, and get it out there. But never would I have thought, on the top of that the tequila industry would try it and give it such high marks and really, give it a boost like that. So my goal is to just only grow it from here, slow and steady. And the more people that try it, the more people will realize it. It's a really amazing tequila. So
then, Greg, what's next for your business after this really prolific first couple of years from the idea generation to this point we're at now? What's next on the docket for Tequila Spirits?
Sure. I'm going down to Mexico again this September. We are bottling the next expression, Añejo. So the Blanco is just a pure agave tequila. It's never been aged, just made super well. Then you take that Blanco, you put it in a barrel, becomes a reposado, rested for 4 months in that white oak American whiskey barrel. The other tequila that's been resting is going to be resting for more than 14 months, and that becomes Añejo. And we're going to bottle that and bring it up for the holidays. I'm continuing to do more events, really spread the concept of L'Chaim and celebrating, who we are together, community, and everybody being positive and just having a good experience and celebrating life together. And that's what I want to continue to impart in this and then grow this. And I'll be doing events in Florida. We'll be getting out more in Ohio. We've done some things, and then beyond. I'm sure I've had some interest already from Portland and Maryland and Connecticut, and I sell online. So anybody that's not in Michigan that can't go to these amazing restaurants or our local stores, you can go to buy.tequilaspirits.com and go ahead and pick up bottles. I'll ship it everywhere around the country. And with the new year coming in September 23rd, when we celebrate Rosh Hashanah, honestly, you can't have Rosh Hashanah without a tequila. So here's your tequila, and you have a great sweet new year with apples and honey and a little bit of a L'Chaim with tequila kosher spirits. And I think it's going to be great. Again, it's just being positive and celebrating who we are in the community, and that's the message.
Couldn't have said it much better myself. Greg, congratulations once again on these honors at the recent Agave Awards, and thank you so much for joining us and telling us your story today. Yeah,
I really appreciate it. I love it. This is what it's all about, our community and where we are, and the people, and celebrating that. And I really appreciate you having me on here.
Always glad to. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on CivicCenterTV.com and all across our social media. Big thank you to our entire crew at Master Control for making this show possible today, and of course to you for tuning in. For our entire team at Civic Center TV, I'm Tyler Kieft, live, local, social. Thanks for watching The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.